Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to another Hey Joe. Delighted. I've got Jay Pearson here today, who runs Tops of the Cop. It's a Liverpool fan channel website, we say, Jay, but it's all about Liverpool football shirts. Welcome to the show, Jay. How are you doing, mate?
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you having me on. And yeah, doing very, very well, mate. So yeah, thank you for having me on.
So Jay's had some fantastic guests in on his channel. He's had Robbie Fowler, Carragher, Jason McAteer, and Patrik Berger, who's one of my favourite Liverpool players as well. Uh, you talked to them about the shirts that they wore when they were playing for Liverpool. Some absolute classic kits in there. Just tell us a bit about each interview if you can, and what they like as people, and some of your sort of memories of them as players as well. Let's start with Fowler first, because I think that's my favourite watching them all.
Yeah, I think it's most people's favorite episode at the minute, mate. I think it's still a shock to me. I still look at the video and I go, did that actually happen? I had a sort of out of body experience whilst I was interviewing him. I'm sat there chatting away, but then there was another part of me just watching me and Robbie going, what's going on here?
Mm.
How's that happened? But yeah, it was fantastic to interview Robbie Fowler because it was something completely different. I think that's what's worked as well with the show is that the lads have all agreed to do it because it is something completely different. They're not going through their career and stuff. We're having a chat about the kits, whether they were comfy or not, ones they didn't like, ones they loved, ones that brings the best memories and stuff. And yeah, so Robbie was just, he was himself. You've watched the video, and he was just a natural to talk about it, and it's surprising how much like knowledge he had about kits. And I don't mean that as a dig at Robbie. I just mean, footballers don't talk about the kits and stuff like that because they never get asked the question, which is why I started the channel because it was something different. And yeah, he was great. I was telling him which kits he scored the most percentage of his goals in and stuff like that, which he loved. And we had a good laugh about presentations where he's got the kit and then he's got like tracky bottoms and shoes on and just having a laugh. And then speaking about like the '96 Cup final, and we were singing the FA Cup final song together, which again, is a shocking thing for me as a kid who bought that single in '96. And if you'd told me back then, one day you're going to start singing the lyrics with Robbie Fowler, I'd be like, yeah, whatever. So, yeah, it was fantastic, mate. Really, really good conversation. Lot of like interesting tidbits about, you know, growing up in the '90s. I spoke to him about collecting football stickers and stuff, and how he went to the shop once to buy like 3 boxes of footy stickers for his Premier League album for his brother. And, we just touched on all those little memories and stuff. Like I said, we did touch on parts of his career and that, but it was more like, I would say to him, my favourite goal was scored in the Ecru kit by Robbie Fowler. And he straight away went, Berger. I went, yes.
Yeah.
And he was like, it was just fantastic, mate. So yeah, Robbie Fowler was just an absolute diamond to do that. I'll always be forever grateful for the fact that he did that. And it's one of the best things I've ever done. All the interviews are, but that for Robbie Fowler being the player I idolised was just an incredible feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, I think we're pretty much the same age. And when Fowler was playing for Liverpool in those sort of early '90s days, I remember, I think, which was the first kit I think I got, the Adidas '92 kit when they had the stripes across the shoulder, the red one.
Yeah,
That was my first kit
yeah.
as a Liverpool fan. And yeah, I think my dad went down to London because he was a vet and he came back up with it. He must have bought it from somewhere down there. Quite a funny story for you, though, for the '96 5-6 one with the V-neck.
Oh, the
Uh,
cricket one, yeah.
yeah, at birthday, and my mum was printing the names on the back. But instead of just having McManaman on the back, I had Steve McManaman. And then they had David James on that brilliant goalkeeper kit,
Bless
the
her.
purple and grey.
Oh,
Yeah, I was distraught, I think, but it was stupid
it's a
looking
great
back.
effort though from a fair play
Yeah,
to her. That's a great effort. That I
but
love that. But yeah,
looking back
do
now,
you,
you put that on TikTok, it'd be loads of hits, wouldn't it?
oh God, yeah, yeah. Oh, it's a fake shirt. It's this, it's that. But you know what? Fair play to him for trying to go the extra mile. That I love that. That's made with love. That's brilliant. Devalued the shirt straight away, but it was really good.
I wish I still had it, but I don't, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. That's the thing in it. With kits, you get them as a child, and then they're gone within a few years or 10 years, whatever, and then they're in the attic, or your parents get rid of them, and then as you get older, you're like, I want them back now.
Yeah.
They want not going to fit, but you still want them back. Because I would love to have all my old shirts to give to my son, but I'm just finding myself buying them again on eBay and Vinted, and whatever I buy for me, I'm buying for him in a kid size because they're just classics, aren't they? They're the memories growing up.
Yeah, I haven't got any of those like 90s kits left now. I've God knows what happens to all of those. But yeah, it would be great to have those ones because I think pretty much
Absolutely.
had them all up to when, most of them, like yourself. But I did a feature with Carragher and Henri this time last year. And Carragher, it's when Liverpool was starting really to get going, sort of kicking into that 10-game winning streak when we beat
Yeah.
City and Madrid in that as well.
Yeah.
And he came over and he's like, "What do you think of Arnie Slot?" He's like, "I think he'll do all right," and he has done all right, hasn't he? But what was he like with you, Carragher, when you met him? He's a really jovial character and easy to get along with. That's what I found.
Yeah, I completely agree, mate. Well, the nicest people I've ever met in my life. He has this persona and this, depending on which side of the fence you sit on Sky, and whether, to be fair, even from a Liverpool fan base, a lot of people don't like him as well, which really grinds my gears because when you watch Carragher on Sky Sports versus Carragher on CBS and in real life, two completely different people. People don't understand that Sky make him be a certain way sometimes, but no, brilliant. He was dead excited to talk kits. We had a nice little set in Crosby in a restaurant that he likes, and had his five favorite shirts that he picked ahead of time, and we had them nicely set out, and we just went down again memory lane, which is brilliant. We touched on the Youth Cup as well, which he loved. Spoke about a crew, which is the shirt he made his debut in. The Istanbul shirt, and which is a disgustingly looking shirt. I really don't like it, but gives us one of the best memories ever. The European shirt, and then it was funny because it's funny how players don't sort of get educated on shirts and stuff a lot. They just go, yeah, you got to wear it. So we went down like European specific shirts with Carragher, and like the 2001 shirt, European home shirt that we wore for our re-entry into the Champions League. He was like, "Oh yeah, forgot about that," and he's telling me what players it reminds me of. Mentioned Yari Littmanen, and then he was asking about the star ball on the shirt and the badge of distinction stuff. So I was teaching him a little bit, and we just had a good laugh. It was good. And we were talking about kits we didn't like. The Brendan Rodgers era of being in Europe with the purple, white, and orange Warriors shocking shirt, and
Yeah, God, yeah,
he mentioned which shirt he doesn't like signing
yeah,
when people bring it up to him because it's hard to sign, and he was brilliant. He was just himself, and he was just boss. And one of the things that I love about Carragher since is we've kept in touch, and he's always messaging me about kits and stuff. And then if I tag him in anything, he shares it for me immediately because he enjoys what we did. And he's just class, Cara. He really is. Again, he'll do a lot for anyone.
yeah,
Within reason, obviously.
yeah, yeah,
But he's just, yeah, fantastic. And again, within 2 minutes of me doing that interview, it's like I knew him for a long time. He makes you feel so relaxed straight away. So yeah, Carragher's boss. And again, it's another great episode. And Carragher has the distinct honour of being the player at the club who's worn the most Liverpool kits in its entire history. So, yeah.
yeah. What is it? 737, is it?
737 games.
Yeah.
And in that time, he's worn 38 different Liverpool kits.
Wow,
Mm,
it's ridiculous.
I know. But that's the thing in it, if Cali had the same stuff, he'd wore a lot more. But obviously they wore the same shirt for 7 or 8 years in a row, didn't they? Whereas
Yeah,
obviously Carragher's in a more modern era, it was like 3 or 4 kits a season. So obviously that number's going to go up.
yeah.
But yeah, but yeah, that's a unique record he has anyway. So no one will top it.
So you go from Carragher to Jason McAteer, it's a completely different character.
Yeah, absolutely. And I did McAteer before I did Carragher. Now I knew Jason from a few years ago when I did a documentary about the story of a crew. Which someone making a documentary about Liverpool kit's quite sad, really. But people can watch and tell me what they think. But so I knew him that from back then a few years ago. So I just got back in touch with him and said, listen, I've got this show now. Been sat on it for a few years. Would you fancy being a bit of a guinea pig for it? And he was, happy to say yeah. He came down to the studio. We filmed it there, and yeah, brilliant again. And I had a lot longer with him than what we first planned because we talked about kits, but we just had a right laugh. We had a scream about everything, the catalogs he's been in and stuff like that. And, reason why he picked a certain shirt because he thought he looked the dog's bollocks in it, which was just, it's classic McAteer. And then we talked about video games and growing up in the 80s and the 90s and Sega and Nintendo and what the best Rocky films were, everything. It was just absolutely just superb. It was everything about that interview was great. And I put a separate part out of McAteer where we were just talking about the 90s and the 80s, and that's a separate thing. We didn't even touch football. We talked about him being on the front cover of FIFA, one of the first people to do that. And it was just class. And again, they all picked their favourite kits for different reasons, and he picked the yellow away kit from '97 because he thought he looked good in it. Saying he looked like Blue Steel before Blue Steel was Blue Steel in Zoolander, and In Excess, he wanted to be like the lead singer from In Excess, and it was just class, mate. Just from start to finish. Again, you just feel dead relaxed with them, and
Yeah.
because they're wanting to talk about it as well. I'd like to ask a question because they loved talking about all the shirts, and McAtee was talk about his time at Bolton. We touched on, Bolton and how proud he was to wear the Bolton shirt.
Mm.
But then they had this emotional moment where he's talking about walking in the dressing room in 1995 and seeing McAteer 4 just hanging up there. And he said, there's nothing like that. He just said that was the most unbelievable feeling ever.
Yeah, I've seen clips of when he's been speaking about that. Just a total like dream come true, basically. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Pinnacle
Yeah,
of life
definitely.
almost.
Pretty much, that's every boy's dream, isn't it?
Yeah.
If that happens and you play 10 minutes, then you never play again. You've achieved your dream in life. You play for your boyhood club.
That budgie kit was great as well.
Oh, it was brilliant, superb.
The
That
red
really
neck.
was. Yeah, absolutely. I mean that the '95 home shirt with the cricket collar is
Mm.
iconic for many reasons, mainly the 4-3 game. But it was just something different, and I think Adidas went out with a bang that season. They're both
Yeah.
the home and away were superb. People look at the away and be like, oh, the FA Cup final, but from a design perspective and the training wear, it's superb, and there's been a hint of that training wear come back this season with Adidas as well. So sometimes kits are disgusting, but they have really good memories,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
sometimes kits are really good, but they've been in a bad season.
Yeah.
I always go back to Istanbul and Athens. I would happily swap those kits around. I wouldn't
Yeah.
change what happened in Istanbul, but give me Istanbul happening in 2007
Yeah.
instead of 2005
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that trophy lift in that Adidas kit, oh, that would have been something else. That
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Definitely.
so yeah, that's just what it
We
is. Isn't it?
should have won that final as well, probably.
We should have done, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But
But
yeah.
that kit, the cricket collar kit, as you mentioned it, I think I can't remember. I went to Anfield on a tour, and I think they had the old, they had out the back of the just where the cop gates are, they had that little hut, didn't they, where they used
Oh,
to
the
sell the
merch
kit.
stand. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Went got it from in there, and
Brilliant.
I think Redknapp and Neil Ruddock turned up in one of the cars as well, so we saw them
Wow.
as well.
That's
Yeah,
amazing. Love
so
that, Joe.
that was a
That's
memory.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good memory.
Didn't
Wow.
didn't I think saw them. Might have said hello. Probably like 9 at the time. But yeah,
Superb. Love
they
that.
were. I used to love Redknapp, and that sort of nicely takes me on to the next player, Patrik Berger. One of my favourite memories from him was that free kick against United, Old
Oh,
Trafford,
yeah.
the
Yeah,
45
yeah.
yard or whatever it was. And that
What a
green
goal.
kit, I love that green kit. That one with the slash down it, black and
Yeah.
white, black and white slash.
Yeah, absolute superb kit that. And I think that's one of the memories that people come up with straight away is they say Paddy Berger's free kick or they say Titi Kamara.
Oh yeah,
They're the two sort of memories that come up for it a lot in that kit. And that was a good kit that from Reebok. And because obviously it complemented really well with the goalie shirt. The goalie shirt was a pretty much identical design, wasn't it?
yeah,
And yeah, beautiful kit that. When we hadn't had a green kit for a while, and that was spot on that.
yeah. It was great. I think I had Redknapp on the back there. I still love Jamie Redknapp. He was blighted by injury, wasn't he, for us, unfortunately.
Such a shame.
But
Such a
he could
shame.
when he played, he was awesome. Like
He was.
just the tempo was just completely ran through him.
Completely agree, mate.
Yeah,
Completely agree. Yeah, it's sad, really, because we missed out on a good player there for
yeah.
a long time.
So Patrick Berger, what were your sort of favourite moments with him?
Um, it's a funny one with Paddy because when we did that, we'd already been friends for quite a while, and I went over to Prague, to his house to basically film for his YouTube channel because Patrik said to me a while ago, he wants to put all of his goals on YouTube and start a YouTube channel. And I said, well, I'll do it for you, mate. It's not a problem. And I said, one of the things that we'll do, we'll put your goals on, but let's do a bit of a Q&A. Let's get your fans to ask you questions and stuff. And so we was going over to Prague to do that, which we have done. And, people can go on to Patrik's YouTube channel and they can find all that content there. But when I'd sat on this idea of this YouTube channel for a number of years and just never had the bottle to just do it. I always wanted to talk Liverpool kits, but I never dreamed I'd ever have the opportunity to interview a player. So when I got this opportunity with Patrik, I didn't push the friendship, but it was a few years in before I thought, you know what, if you're going to do it, Jay, do it now. And there's no better guinea pig to do it than Patrik Berger, who's your mate, who you have a laugh with and you have a good time with, and you can wind each other up. And it was just, yeah. So I just said to him, "Would you do it?" And he's like, "Mate, let's get it done." And he was fantastic. And he's got a really good comedic like brain, Patrik, and a really good sense of humor, and his timing's impeccable. And especially as some of the quips that he does in that episode is just absolutely brilliant. When he's getting a bit of an ego about the pass to Michael Owen because he's always called it a clearance. And I just said, I said, it's a great kid. It was a great pass. And he goes, yeah, no, it was. It's just little things like that. And then he's winding me up about being obsessed with Ecru and stuff. And it was just two mates having a chat about footy kits. And that's what I loved. And I'll always treasure that. I always treasure my friendship with Patrik because he's been brilliant, and he comes across really well. And we talked about the 2001 away shirt, which again, fantastic. Will always be remembered for Michael Owen, but he calls his pass a clearance. But we all know it was a great pass. And the shirts he picked, the first one, the Reebok with the collar, which is the first shirt he wore for Liverpool. The 2002 white away shirt he loved because just for the design of it, nothing special in terms of what he did in the shirt, just the look of it. And again, that's what I go back to is like a lot of the lads, they pick the shirts for the memories and they also pick for how good they looked on them. And I think Patrik was one of those for that. And again, the Ecru is just synonymous with him. That was the last one he
Yeah.
picked because it is synonymous with Patrik because he was the first sort of superstar photographed in that shirt. And I think Reebok knew what they were doing then when they got this sort of foreign Euro 96 superstar to come in. They was like, we'll save the Ecru shirt to model him in. And, we all know how good looking the man is. And it did quite well. And I think it worked as well because I don't have the stats, but I remember speaking to Peter Moore and Glenn Joyce, who were really high up at Reebok at the time um, of 96 and going into 2005. And I still speak to Glenn now. And Glenn said that Ecru away shirt was the highest and fastest selling for a long time. Now, that might have changed when Adidas came in 06, 07, but, that says everything about having a shirt that looks good, not just on a Saturday at the match, but on a Tuesday night in the pub with jeans
Yeah.
and trainers. But so long story short, mate, Patrik Berger was absolutely boss, and yeah, he just comes across really well, like he does in life, because he's just one of life's good guys.
Yeah, I thought he was a great player for Liverpool as well. As well, yeah, there's not many. Yeah, you always have certain memories, like of different players that you enjoyed, especially watching live. I think Kamara, like you mentioned, I had a neighbour and the dad had a season ticket and in the paddock, right low down
Oh
by the
yeah,
pitch, just sort of down from the bench, and that season when TT was just on fire for that sort of 6 7 months, and he was just seeing him playing in that team was just ridiculous. So strong, wasn't he, and fast.
oh, big time, mate. So good. So good. And again, apparently he was, he's a brilliant player in the dressing room as well. Patrik got on with him quite well. And I think that was Patrik's best season as well at Liverpool, in terms of the amount of goals he scored and assists. He was on fire that season as well. So yeah, we didn't win anything, but you could tell we were starting to build a really, really good team because that was also the summer where Vesterveld,
Yeah.
Hippier, Smeets, Kamara himself, they all arrived in this sort of like we knew we got up a level, and I think Hooley had really put his stamp on the team then. So yeah, it was a good time all round. Shame we didn't win anything, but
Yeah.
you know, semi decent seasons and good performances and two fantastic kits because the home shirt was
Mm.
just as stunning that season as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And just on sort of your favourite manufacturer of the kits we've had since we've been supporting Liverpool. So we've had Reebok, Adidas, Reebok, um, Adidas,
Yeah.
and then what do we go to after that? You'll know
Uh,
that.
Well, Warrior,
Warrior, yeah, then New
New
Balance,
Balance.
then Nike, and then
Yeah,
back to Adidas. So we've gone
yeah.
full circle in our lifetime, basically. Again,
Absolutely, mate. Yeah,
twice.
yeah, 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 yeah. I think for me, Reebok has got such a special place in my heart. Just
Mm,
for the that was when I really started being obsessed with football when Reebok like sort of came into the fold, and so I've always got a special place in my heart for Reebok, but it's Adidas will always be number one for me because you've got that tail end of the 80s where they had some classic kits. And then when they took over in the mid 90s, that palette in 06, 07, those three
yeah,
or four shirts were just stunning.
yeah,
And then they've absolutely nailed it this season, Adidas. They really have. They've come back with a bang, and they're gonna have to do something special next year to top this lineup of kits because all three, four shirts, including the goalie ones, are superb. So I would have to say Adidas overall, but Reebok has a very special place in my heart for that Ecru shirt. So, but yeah, Adidas. What about you?
uh, yeah. Reebok was great growing up. I think I had all the Reebok kits like you, and then the Torres was the sort of player that I remember in that new Adidas era. You know,
Yeah,
when we had Rafa after the Champions League, Crouchy,
mm,
yeah, that
yeah,
kit with the yeah. I mean, basically, it's similar to the one now, isn't it, with the collar
absolutely.
essentially.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But yeah,
Stunning kits. Yeah, brilliant then, man. Yeah.
but I thought Nike didn't do too bad last season. I think last season's kit was decent. Well, they could have probably done a bit better, but
Yeah, I say I think last season's home kit was just horrendous. I really do, and that's because it was too much.
mm,
Like there was the pattern, and then the collar, and then there was yellow and white and red on it, and it was
yeah,
like, oh, I didn't like it. But now it's iconic because
yeah,
we won the league in it, and
yeah,
it'll
yeah,
always be a classic shirt. But it was not something I ever wore. I would never. I didn't. I don't think I wore it once. I bought it, but I just didn't think I ever wore it once. And that's what you can. That's the good thing about footy kits is they're ugly. Some of them can be ugly, but you win something in them,
mm,
and boom. Like I didn't like the one behind you that we won in Madrid.
yeah,
Never liked it.
yeah,
Never,
yeah,
never liked it because I just think I didn't like the collar and the stripes stopped halfway, and I'd never. But it's iconic because we won
yeah,
Madrid in it, so
yeah,
that's what worries me because we win in ugly kits. So I'm a bit worried about this season because
yeah,
that's bloody gorgeous. So
yeah,
I'm just kind of hoping we do win the league in it.
yeah, yeah. Hopefully, I mean, we're coming for a lot of criticism, haven't they, over the last 10, well, 7 or 8 days. Carragher's been on CBS saying he's unsure.
He
What did
was
you,
right as
what,
well.
yeah,
Everything he said, he was right. I wholeheartedly agree with him. And yeah, mate, it was always coming this because we've not been the best, this season. We've
mm,
won 7 out of 7 before last week, and
yeah,
it was great and everything. But I just think this was always going to happen. And we win a massive transition with sort of 5 or 6 new players, and some of them are starting 11 players. So I'm not in the panic button because 2 defeats on the bounce in 2 different competitions under 2 very different circumstances. We've got a taste of our own medicine in the last minute,
yeah,
but just reset it and go again. I'll be very worried again if we play like that at the weekend against Chelsea. That's when I will start panicking. But I think this team is ready to go up a gear at some point, and
yeah,
Slot's just got to find that right formation, that right sort of ingredients, and it'll click as well because we've got some very, very, very good players. So, but we've just got to be on our toes, mate, because there's 2 very good teams behind us with
yeah,
Arsenal and City. So
yeah,
you never
definitely.
know. But I'm not worried massively.
Yeah, I think it's going back to a lot of basics as well. You know, as
Yeah,
simple as that sounds, isn't it? It's like just do the sort of basic things properly and
yeah,
put the effort in a bit more, and that
yeah. Just
we'll
find the
probably be
formula.
fine.
Find the formation that works, find the right players in that formation and stuff like that. It sounds so simple, doesn't it? And
Mm,
we can sit here all day doing it when we're the ones that have got to do it. And
yeah,
you've got to have players that are fully fit, and you've got to have players who are playing the right position. And you've also got sometimes you've got 2 fantastic players for one position. You got to think in your back
yeah,
of mind, well, I've got to make time for them to play as well because I don't want them to get, you know, I need them to have match fitness and stuff like. It's like we've always looked poor when McAteer's come off, but you need to make the time so he doesn't get injured for Isaac and stuff. And we're in a situation now where Ekatike is going to be injured at the weekend, and we're going to have Isaac who's not got enough game time. And how's that going to work? And
yeah,
yeah, it's a nightmare, mate. But like I said, there's a long way to go, pal.
yeah,
I'm not worried yet.
absolutely. And your channel, you've been nominated for a Football Content Award. Just tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, man, I'm still shocked about it. I mean, if you'd have said to me 6, 7 months ago well, it's longer than that. I was nearly 10 months ago when I started the channel that you've been nominated for a football content award. I'd have just laughed. Then again, I'd laughed if I'd been sat down with Robbie Fowler. So you never know what's going to happen in this game. But no, very proud and very privileged that because that's down to every person that's subscribed, every person who's commented, and every person that's liked the video. That's down to them for the feedback and everything. And it's just shown that doing a channel that's just dedicated to Liverpool kits, interviewing people, and then also on the channel I provide like a bit of a service where I help people call fake spotting, where what to look out for between fakes and real shirts. And if you're a collector, I'd highly recommend checking them out. And yeah, I've been nominated for an award. I'm not bothered if I don't win, it doesn't matter. But 50% of the vote is public. So if anybody's out there wants to go on the Football Content Awards website, go to Best Club Content Creator and vote for Tops of the Cop. I'd be very, very grateful. But yeah, very proud to be nominated for that in the first sort of year of the channel being in existence. But I'm up against some tough competition from other clubs. I'm the only Liverpool representative in that category. So that's a proud moment. But yeah, we'll just see what happens. But I'll be enjoying it and I'll be milking it for all it's worth, Joe. That's for damn sure.
The Ellen Road, isn't it? So
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to
I
leave
missed
the
out
little
by a year. It
Liverpool
was at
sticker on
Anfield.
the toilets or something.
Oh, Tops of the Cop stickers are going everywhere, mate. Yeah, I missed out on Anfield by a year, so I've got to go up to Ellen Road and I'll be staying over with the missus and we'll have a good time and
Yeah.
drinking all the booze. We'll have a good time,
Well, good,
regardless.
good luck with that one.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and to be the only Liverpool podcast as well, or channel there, some of the Anfield Rap and the Red Men, for them not to be there and for you to be there is a real achievement, I think, because they've been sort of
I would think
stalwarts
so,
over the
mate.
last few
Yeah.
years.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I would think so. I don't. I mean, to be fair, I don't think the Red Men can be nominated anymore because they're in the Hall of Fame
Right.
of the Football
Too
Content
good.
Awards. Too good, yeah, absolutely. It'd be an unfair fight. So it's giving us little people a chance, really,
Yeah.
which is good. But no, I know a lot of lads at Redmen, and they're backing me all the way, and they've shared my vote a few times, and yeah, we'll see what happens, man. But like I said, there's some massive, massive accounts and YouTube channels that are in that category. So I haven't got a cat in hell's chance, but I'm gonna go and enjoy myself, and yeah, just gonna be like, I'm a finalist. I'll take that. And it might be the one and only time I get there, mate. But at least I can say I've done it.
Yeah.
So that'll do me.
You
That'll
never
do me.
know.
But you never know. Never know. But people are enjoying what I'm doing, man. You know what I mean? It's very humbling in a way, and I mean that in a positive way, not like I get an ego about it. I don't, I'm doing this for me. If no one watched the channel, but I'm sitting down interviewing players that I grew up idolizing, then that's just for me. I'm happy. But if people are enjoying it, I can see that they are, and that's brilliant. I've got 4 players booked in for the sort of like the next season, if you like, because I took the summer off just to do the Adidas kit launch and all that sort of stuff, and take a bit of a break after having a man a few months. But yeah, season 2, if you like, is just as action packed with the players I've got booked in.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's enjoyable, mate, and I appreciate everyone that's checking it out.
Well, we'll look forward to that, Jay. I think we've run out of time on our Zoom link. But yeah, pleasure having you on. Good luck at the awards and good luck with Tops of the Cop for what's to come as well. I know you've got some good guests signed up, so yeah, they're gonna be cracking.
Oh, appreciate that, mate. God bless you. Thank you for that. And thanks for having me on, mate. I've enjoyed our chat.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
it's been
And I'll
great.
always come back again whenever you want me back on.
Great going back down memory lane with the Liverpool kits. I will see you soon. Okay.
Take care.